Okay, here we are, and we are going to read out some Bertstrips because it's my favorite type of humor, and here we are. While the hospital administrator applauds Elmo for volunteering as an organ donor, at the same time, she's curious as to where he obtained 37 fresh human kidneys. Everyone in the vacuum chamber tried to scream, but made no sound. The last thing their eyeballs saw before exploding was Beaker laughing on the other side of the glass. Grover's new job at a popular diner came with great benefits. He was not only able to popularize his famed colon combustor chili, but it also gave him an opportunity to get rid of Mr. Johnson's body a few pieces at a time. Oops. Oh, I think I've read this, but Telly couldn't believe his luck. They actually set up the first strip club on Sesame Street. After Beaker's cloning experiment, this happened in an actual Muppets episode, by the way, was a success. He set them free to wreak havoc on the world, and there's one mutated one. Dr. Lamb shows everyone how to properly remove blood from your hands after committing a foul murder. Elmo immediately rips off his testicles when Zoe mentions she wants to have babies. Oh man. Oh God, we need to before we wanking off to Gardevoir. Ernie makes his votes for the Pokemon of the Year voting. I think that's it. Ernie assures the woman that there was nothing wrong with the ship, and he was simply testing the life raft for quality assurance. Elmo knows better than to question a man who just tore off half of his friend's head to wear a hat. There's no place for weakness on the Sesame Street. Cookie Monster is finally forced to confront the families of his victims. Oh, and then there's this version. At first, Cookie Monster was confused why he was sent to hell by God, but then he realized that the sinners had all been turned into cookies. He wasn't being punished, he was the punishment. Yeah, I think I've done this. Bernie searches the Bible for more sins to commit, such as saying Shrek the Third is a favorite movie of theirs. Bert and Ernie completes their forge of the Mona Lisa. A deep sniff confirmed Abby's suspicious. Oscar was indeed composed primarily of low-grade weed. I mean, I have to agree, because Oscar's been hiding in a trash can for freaking. Ernie is saddened by the pigeon's unresponsiveness to his racially charged jokes. Ernie wasn't sure what he just smoked, but he knew it wasn't weed. Cookie Monster happily helped preparing the birthday cake for Ernie's girlfriend until he saw the number of candles on it. Ernie spends 3 hours each night in bed listing off the things Bert did in Vietnam to test his hypnosis that enough guilt can stop a man's heart. Bert and Ernie had worked together as morning drive time radio hosts for 20 years. They traded jokes, played pop music, and generally made people's lives a touch brighter as they trundled to work. Now, though, there was silence on the air. Ernie silently reread the fax message from Civil Defense. As licensed broadcasters, they were legally obligated to alert the public, to tell them when nukes were flying, and that in a few minutes all of the world's troubles would be over. What, though, was the point of that? To torture people with the knowledge of something they couldn't change. Their eyes met, and a decision was reached. Bert put on their most requested song, a sugary top 40 tune, while Ernie produced a bottle of bourbon from under the desk. As their producer banged on the locked studio door, the colleagues toasted an end of a long career. Oh, God. I can't read that. Sorry. And I'm not going to. Elmo's father talks to his son as he makes pancakes and tries to hold back tears in front of a court-mandated social worker who is assigned to supervise the few hours a week they spend together after Elmo's addicted mother falsely accused him of being abusive and was awarded full custody thanks to how U.S. legal system views fatherhood as essentially worthless. Ernie tried to explain that what they were doing was bigger than either of them, but Bert didn't see any nobility in surrendering himself to the police while Ernie escaped to Tahiti with the money and remaining children. With his Twitter account suspended, Telly fashions a Pepe the Frog hand puppet and calls all of his roommates cucks. After Elmo's basement got flooded for the third time, and the fourth time a gator got in, Elmo began to regret moving to Florida. I guess it's happening now. Elmo is using his satanic powers to defy gravity for the fourth time in a row this week. The others are surprised, but they shouldn't be, considering he does this all the damn time. He He finally did it! The count divided by zero! Bert and Ernie silently screamed as all existence started to fade into darkness. Ernie could only watch in horror as his friend face shifted into a higher plane of existence. Down to 200 life points, and his opponent already summoned 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons, Cookie Monster must decide which card to use in order to turn the tide of duel, or else his friend will lose their souls to the Shadow Realm. Okay, we're months away from this, but the holidays, or Christmas, is Bert and Ernie's favorite time of year because they can disguise their cocaine packages as Christmas presents and no one will question them. Hermit follows Grover to the Hasidic part of town in order to reenact Kristallnacht. It was only 48 hours, and already the footage of Cookie Monster being lobotomized had become a viral sensation. Ernie is distraught to learn that Bert had left the basement unlocked, and all of their sweatshop workers had escaped. Communist Elmo's plan to kidnap and eat a local businessman is thwarted when he is offered a pair of sandpaper masturbation gloves for an incredibly low price. Wait, what the hell was Scarf? After being frozen for 60 years, Bert learns of Hitler's defeat and the fall of the Reich. Bert smirks as he hears the air raid sirens. Ernie's war had begun at last. Bert suddenly realized that Ernie's final solution had nothing to do with math. In order to save the world, okay, this is the last one. In order to save the world from Dr. Grover's nuclear doomsday device, Agent 069 Cookie Monster must pull the correctly colored lever to stop the machine. However, there is one problem. Cookie Monster is colorblind. I do know there was one that said Cookie Monster had 3 options. If he pulled the red one, he would die. If he pulled the green one, the earth would explode and everyone would die. If he pulled the blue one, his friends and family would die. Cookie Monster just decided it would be worthless, and so he pulled all 3 of them with his arm at once. Okay, that's the end. It was great watching or reading Bertstrips with you, so bye, guys.